survived 100 days as Lightyear in Minecraft. When the world was under threat from the biggest meteor shower ever recorded, only one person could save them. And that person was me, Lightyear. While I try and navigate my way through outer space, I set myself 3 main objectives. 1. Pass my medical exam and make it to the moon. 2. Find signs of new life on the planet Mars. And 3. Find and destroy the meteors heading for Earth before it's too late. Do I have what it takes to be Lightyear, the savior of our planet? Or will I have a front row seat to the end of the world? Stay tuned to find out what happens next. Day 1, 7 a.m. Time to get up and start my day. First up, I gotta check myself out a little, but then jump into the shower. Then I picked out my outfit and got ready for work. In case any of you guys are unsure what I do for work, I'm a trainee astronaut, and it's my job to keep this world safe. Before I leave my house every morning, I make a video diary of the day before. After that, I check the crater behind my house. This is Ground Zero, the location where a single meteor hit planet Earth not long ago. It's a good reminder of how everything can change in a matter of seconds. Then, it was time to report to the main HQ. And here it is, my office, with a quite epic view, I might add. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? The Neo X4000, the very shuttle that's gonna bring my team to the moon and back. Unfortunately, I can't go yet. I still have to pass the medical. Ugh. I decided to get that part over and done with, so I met with the army doctor and he had my results. I passed! I'm going to the moon! I arrived just as my team were getting suited up to head to space. How exciting! Once I was ready, I double-checked my kit and then headed for the ship where my commander came running to stop me.
Little Kelly, you have to come with me. It's urgent and top secret.
Oh snap, more urgent than the moon? I'm in! I followed my commander into this little room inside the HQ. He seemed scared.
Little Kelly, what you're about to hear is top-level classified. At this moment, a series of ice meteors the size of 8 large trucks are on a collision course with Earth. If we don't stop them in the next 100 days, Earth as we know it will be destroyed. You've passed top of your class, qualifying you for Lightyear status. And with your recent medical approval, we here at NASA believe you're the one for the job. Will you accept this mission and save the world? Will you be the next Lightyear?
Let me think about it. Hells yeah! Man, I was so excited. A solo mission to save the Earth? I figured I'd get a rocket twice the size of that one, right? But nope. It was this tiny little tin can. Come on, guys. Couldn't you at least give it some kind of neon light or something? I changed into this new suit. It gave me better protection for where I was going. Then I hopped in. Next stop, the World Space Station. Location? Outer space. Launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Houston, we have liftoff. Woo! A little later on, I landed and secured my rocket to the side of the World Space Station. I took a look around inside and I seemed to be the only one here. Eventually, after walking around the entire space station, I found the living quarters. I don't know about you guys, but today has been the longest day of my life. Time to get some rest. Over the next few days, I took a look around the space station while I waited for my ship to refuel. By the looks of things, these guys were making some really cool things up here in space. And the more I looked around, the crazier it was that I was the only one here. Look at the size of this place. I was secretly praying my ship filled quicker so I could get out of here. It was starting to give me the creeps. By day 7, my ship was refueled, shined, and good to go. I made a final check around to make sure everything was A-OK. And just as I was about to jump in, a message came through on the main screen.
Little Kelly, this is NASA Commander. I have an urgent update on your top secret mission. We have received broken communications from a fellow astronaut on the moon base station. He needs help ASAP, and you're the only one in orbit at this time. Your mission to save the world is on hold. Repeat, your new mission is to launch to the moon and save Sergeant S. Harkey.
I had no time to waste. Launch sequence initiated. Looks like my mission to save the world will have to wait. Hold on, Sergeant. I'm coming to save you. Next stop, the moon. Yeehaw! On day 8, I arrived on the moon. I did it! My lifelong dream of walking on the moon is now achieved. One small step for me, one huge step for mankind. Whoa, look, my footprint's on the moon. I'm gonna try and write my name somewhere, like I did under my desk at school. I set up my dune buggy and began refueling. Something tells me I was going to need a lot of it. After looking around some more, I realized my GPS coordinates were completely wrong. I may have landed on the moon, but I was nowhere near the moon base station. Once my dune buggy was ready to go, I hit the road, or the moon surface. Whoa, this thing can really move! And thankfully, these wheels can get me out of even the deepest moon craters. I was traveling at least a few days before I found this pod. This has to be where the sergeant is, right? I got up close and looked through, but I couldn't spot anyone inside. I think I'm gonna have to go in there. Once I was inside, I realized the pressure and gravity was the same from outside the circle. I took a look around and then I spotted it. Huge holes in the roof of the glass dome. This place was no longer sealed and all the oxygen is gone. Oh no, the sergeant! I ran to the closest building and I checked inside. Only some dune buggies and some fuel. The sergeant wasn't here. I ran across to the next building and again, no sign of the sergeant. Maybe I was too late. Maybe he was dead already. That's when I noticed footsteps on the surface, and it looked like they were going into that room. I ran inside and there he was, the sergeant, but he looked in a really bad way. I ran to him and I realized he needed oxygen tanks. He's almost ran out. I looked around and found some full tanks on the shelf. I gave them to the sergeant and he fixed them onto his suit. That was a close call.
Gee, you took your time, didn't you? This place got hit by a random meteor shower and I've been trying to fix these holes all week. Glad you're here now, though. I can do it to help. My name is Sergeant S. Harkey. Nice to meet you.
Rude! I did just save his life, but whatever. I explained to the sergeant that I didn't have the time to help as I was on a top secret mission that he doesn't know anything about because it's top secret. Yeah. I was just about to leave when the sergeant called me and told me to come back. He said an urgent message had come through from NASA HQ.
Little Kelly, I'm glad you made it to the moon base station. Apologies for the incorrect coordinates, but I've got terrible news. It looks like our base on the planet Mars is under attack by some sort of alien creatures. I'm afraid they need your help. Take Sergeant S. Harkey and any weapons he may have to the new location on your space GPS. Please hurry. I fear there'll be no one left alive.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible! We needed to move quickly. We wasted no time in getting supplies we needed. Oh baby, look at all these weapons. Those aliens won't stand a chance. Myself and Sergeant S. Harkey took just under a week to get back across the moon's surface and to our ships. And once we got there, we had to refuel and make sure our 2 tin cans were ready for the flight ahead. Getting to Mars was going to be no easy feat. By day 24, we were good to go. I don't know how long this journey to Mars was gonna take, but I was ready. Let's go! So, believe it or not, but it's pretty hard to navigate up here in space, so I kind of just winged it. Turns out, Mars is actually quite a bit away. Who would have figured? But after 15 days, I had found it, and boy was I ready to get out of this ship. Day 41, and we're officially on Mars. Currently 10 miles west of the Mars base station. We had to land further away, just in case whatever is attacking our base station had guns big enough to blow our ships out of the sky. Eventually, we arrived at the Mars base station, and from this far back, everything seemed okay. But once we got closer, we could see it was under a full-scale alien attack. Oh my gosh! Myself and Sergeant S. Harkey loaded up and we got right to work. These things were everywhere. But what kind of alien creatures were they? They seemed to be immune to our defenses and they even managed to take out our force field. Wait, the force fields! We need to get them back up and running if we're gonna stand a chance against these things. I ran back and grabbed all the batteries I had to power up the force fields. I battled my way through all these disgustingly terrifying aliens until I reached the first force field. I applied the battery and boom! It worked! I repeated the process until I had every force field up and running again. Now all I need to do is get into the base station and see if anyone is alive. I found the teleport plate and I went for it. Now that I'm inside the ship, I had to be careful. There were no aliens on board, and it didn't take long before I realized they had made it on here too. Only one last door to check behind. If there were no astronauts behind this door, then nobody survived. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Whoa! Hold your fire! Yes, there were survivors. They managed to escape back into this room and barricade themselves inside until help arrived. Good job, everyone. The space station is now secure. I stayed at the Mars space station and helped with the cleanup after that alien attack. It is truly amazing what these astronauts were doing up here, growing crops and starting a community where humans could thrive. If it wasn't for the constant alien attacks, this place would nearly be the perfect place to call home. Not quite yet. On day 51, we said our goodbyes and we headed back towards our ships, about 10 miles out. By day 52, we were refueled and good to go on to our next mission objective: land on Venus and secure some obsidian. On day 53, we had arrived onto Venus, and so far, things were not looking good. From the sounds of it, some kind of storm was rolling in. We set up our refueling stations beside our rockets. After that journey, it's going to take at least 7 days to refuel before our final journey to the asteroids heading for Earth. In the meantime, I had one objective on my mind: find obsidian and make some obsidian TNT. This stuff was some volcanic rock. Not what I needed, but I'll take some for now. I had no idea what time it was, but the storm had really started picking up. We found this cave entrance, and it was our only real hope of some shelter until the weather calms down. We made our way carefully down into the cave, and we couldn't believe just how far it went. We found some silicon ore, some aluminium ore, and some solar ore. Cool! It wasn't until I reached this corner that I realized I was completely lost. And to make things work, I had no idea where the sergeant had gone. Sergeant? Sergeant! Aw, man, how could I have messed up so bad? I could start to hear the storm clearly again. That's gotta mean I'm nearly at the top, right? Not long after, I made it. I can see light. Ugh, although that storm is still going strong. I'm going to set up camp here for the night, and first thing tomorrow, I'll find Sergeant S. Harkey. I arrived back to the ships to see if the sergeant had made it back, and to my shock, his ship was gone. Our base was still there, but he'd taken his ship and all of our food supplies. How could he? That's when it hit me. He also took all of my fuel and reserves. I was stranded here on Venus. How could I get to the meteors and blow them up before the world ends? What am I gonna do? I jumped into my ship to double check what I had left, and I noticed my mining drill. I grabbed it and began to mine downward towards the core. I needed obsidian, and now I need a source of fuel too. It didn't take long until I found this lava pit, and with the rain falling down directly on top of it, it won't be long until that hot lava turns into obsidian. While the rain was doing its thing, I continued drilling through the caves, finding any ore I could possibly use for fuel. By day 60, I had enough melted ores that I could make a makeshift fuel, and the rain had finally turned the lava into obsidian. And with that, I had 10 obsidian TNTs ready to take on these meteors and save the world. But I still can't believe Sergeant S. Harkey left me like that. On day 61, while I waited for my ship to finish filling up, I attempted to make contact with NASA HQ and my commander. It took some messing about, but finally, I got through.
Little Kelly, thank goodness you're alive. I thought the world was doomed. Little Kelly, you're in grave danger. I did some digging on Sergeant S. Harkey, and it turns out he's a spy working for another space agency. He wanted us to get him off the moon and bring him to Venus, where he plans on detonating a nuclear bomb deep inside its core. If that bomb goes off, every last piece of that rock will splinter off and destroy every planet in its wake, including Mars and the moon. You need to stop him immediately. Use of deadly force has been authorized.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible! How could he do such a thing? I needed to find him. I searched through my chest and found my frequency module. Then I got to the higher ground with the hope of finding a signal off to his ship. I pointed my headset in every direction until, boom, there it is, and it's not too far. I needed to hurry. It didn't take me long to find him. Well, at least I hope that's him using a force field and the same rocket ship. Otherwise, I'm about to meet an alien thief. I got close enough to confirm it. It was his equipment, and I couldn't see him anywhere, which meant he had to be in the giant crater. And sure enough, there he was. He wasn't deep enough yet to be at the core, but he had already begun to place the obsidian TNT. Not to mention, his force field is protecting him from any attack from above. I tore the battery from the force field. He's gonna know I'm here now, but it had to be done. This time, when I looked over the edge to spot him, he shot at me! Ah! What the? He came flying up out of the crater like some sort of supervillain, and now I'm the hero he's trying to kill. Bring it on, bruh. Bring it on. We entered clip after clip, trying to take each other out. I have no idea whether we both have terrible aim or if it's the gravitational pull, but it was terrible. Eventually, I hit him, and he came crashing back to the surface with a thud. I asked him why, and all he did was laugh. He's a goner now. Time to destroy his bomb and get going on my final mission, the meteors. Once again, I found myself flying through the stars, trying to find my final mission location. It really is beautiful up here, but I'm ready to get this done and go home. I did it! I found them! The meteors heading on a collision course for Earth. The only problem is, there is a lot more than just 8. I really don't know if I have enough time for this. I had no time to waste. I had my drill and my obsidian TNT. I had to go for it. I jumped from one floating rock to another to make it to the bigger meteors, praying I didn't fall in between and just float off into outer space. With one final big jump, I had made it onto the first ice rock. This thing seems pretty cool. It's just a shame it's on its way to wiping out Earth. What a bummer. I started up my drill and I got to work mining my way to the core. I placed a few TNT around in its weak spots I just created, and then I got out of there. I made these fusion bombs creations to help me light the obsidian TNT from a greater distance. Let's hope they work. Woohoo! Yes, it worked perfectly. Okay, one down, a gazillion more to go. I spent the next week or so planting bombs all over this meteor field. I knew my time was running short, but I had to just keep going. It seemed like they just kept multiplying. I wasn't sure if I could do this. I made the jump to this big ice meteor, and just as I started to drill inside it, life on another planet. Flowers, green grass, and even this tree. Oh my gosh, there is life in outer space. I had to message my commander. Commander, come in. Can you read? I have found life on a new planet. The only problem is, this planet is technically one of those meteors heading for Earth. Please advise on what I should do. Over.
That is incredible. You did it. You really did it. Little Kelly, we have no choice. If that new life is threatening to extinct everything here on Earth, you must destroy it. Your timeline is nearly up. You have less than 1 hour to blow them rocks to shards before it passes through our ozone layer. Godspeed, little Kelly.
As sad as it was, I knew what I had to do. Blow this sucker up! This was it. I had every meteor in this field primed with explosives and good to go. I'm about to save the world and enter the realm of hero. All I need to do now is... Ah! What was that? I turned around and there he was. The sergeant. He wasn't dead, but how? He hit me with his laser gun again, and this time I dropped the detonator into outer space. Oh no! I fired some shots back towards him, and then I did the unthinkable. I jumped from the meteor into the vast unknown. I needed to get to that detonator or the world would be over as we know it. I fell into outer space when I spotted it, the detonator. All I need to do now is reach out and... Yes! I got it! I knew what I had to do, but at least I had front row seats. Ah!
We are gathered here today to honor our fallen hero. Without this person's sacrifice, mankind as we know it would be extinct. Their true bravery in the face of death is an inspiration to us all. Godspeed, Goldie, my beloved goldfish. Now for more positive news. Little Kelly did the unthinkable and made it back from her top secret mission to save the world. And while most of this world will never know what she did for them this day, we will never forget. May I present to you the newly appointed LIGHTYEAR.